What is going on, guys? So, like I said last video, glad to be back talking about right in the thick of talking about bowl games. Um, this video, I want to talk about the Music City Bowl. I'm sorry, I'm looking like kind of a bum right now, late at night. But anyway, so Music City Bowl, Nebraska Cornhuskers, Tennessee Volunteers. Again, just kind of give you guys a little background from both teams, how they're looking going into this game. Both teams were, I believe, top 10 teams at one point, and both had rough kind of middle to the end of the or middle end of seasons. Nebraska coming off that just demolition from Iowa. Iowa. I was watching that Iowa Nebraska game. I expected Nebraska to win, not only win, but even if they didn't, you didn't expect them to lose by what, like 31, like they did, 34, something like that. Again, Tommy Armstrong Jr. Started off the season very well. Didn't finish terribly, but by the end of the year, he started looking more like the Tommy Armstrong Jr. we've come to know and love. Finished touchdowns, 14 touchdowns, 8 picks. They're going to rely very heavily on Jordan Western Camp and Terrell Newby, as they have all year. Those are their playmakers. DeMorney Pierce-Snell, I mentioned him at the beginning of the year when I was doing my team previews, talking about how important he'd be in Nebraska's success this year. And he just, thanks to injuries, hasn't been much of a factor this year. Talking about Tennessee. So, Tennessee obviously started out this preseason. I believe they were preseason number 8. It's somewhere between 8 and 10. Very high up there, considering the fact that they're barely ranked right now. They lost some very heartbreaking games in the middle of the season, starting with Texas A&M, which at the time looked like a decent loss. Now not so much. Obviously losing Trevor Knight really hurt Texas A&M, and we'll see what happens when Trevor Knight comes back for their bowl game. But either way, not looking like a great loss anymore. South Carolina, the worst of the worst, man. Alabama obviously doesn't look too good either. So Tennessee hoping to get, I believe, what is best case scenario, a 9-win season, which would just match what they did last year. They've had a tough year, man. Much like Florida, they've been injury riddled. That Jalen Hurt transfer news obviously killed them. Alvin Kamara's come up huge. I don't think he's gotten enough credit this year. He's been great for Tennessee, filling in that starting role. But the defense has, again, riddled with injuries. And they, again, just lost some games that they really shouldn't have. So this game I believe is in Nashville. I gotta look back if it's Nashville or Memphis. December 30th, 3:30 p.m. It's a game that I'll definitely be watching. One of the better games of this bowl season. 2 blue blood programs. Again, I'm assuming this is a storyline. If you're a Nebraska or Tennessee fan, that's probably been beat to death at this point, but you have to talk about it. Who's gonna make less mistakes, Josh Dobbs or Tommy Armstrong? They're both dual threat quarterbacks that had up and down seasons. Josh Dobbs actually, again, wasn't talked about enough how good he was running the ball, at least to finish the season. And obviously, I didn't even mention it, Tennessee's worst loss, that Vanderbilt loss at the end of the year. I don't know which one was worse, Vandy or South Carolina, but again, both games that Tennessee did not anticipate on losing. So, it would cost him a chance at the SEC East title also. So, again, talking about how I think this Tennessee team will do compared to Nebraska, man. To be honest, I think Tennessee comes out on top. Tennessee, I'm going to say they come out on a top by a score of 38-24. This is a Nebraska team that has had a really tough finish to the season. This is also a Tennessee team, I mentioned that they are incredibly good the last 2 years in bowl season, beating Iowa 2 years ago, I believe the Tax Slayer Bowl, and then last year, I believe the Outback Bowl against Northwestern, who was a top 12 team at the time, and Tennessee just absolutely ran them out of the house. So I do think Tennessee will finish strong. It gives them a month to get healthy after the season's over, finally get it together. It's just been such a story of ups and downs for Tennessee after beating Florida and Georgia. Everyone's saying, Tennessee's back, they're ready to go, and then losing to Texas A&M, Alabama, Vanderbilt, and South Carolina to finish out the season. It just wasn't what you expect from them. But, I do think Tennessee will at least finish out the season strong. They lose a lot of talent after this go around. Josh Dobbs is done. Obviously, Jalen Hurd looking to transfer. Alvin Kamara is most likely gone. Um, Jalen Reeves-Maben, yeah, he didn't play much this season, but he is gone too. So this Tennessee team will look drastically different next year. But I do think they'll at least put an exclamation point on the end of the season and finish it off in a good way. So like I said, guys, this will probably be all for my videos tonight. I'm trying to come up with like a new intro and stuff just to give you guys something new to kind of look at. I do think that the no intro right now just works fine. We'll see. Like I said, guys, I'm gonna try to get all I need to get. At least get the games for this weekend. Starting with UTSA New Mexico.